Welcome everyone to the Pipefy Basics webinar. This webinar is an introduction to the main concepts behind Pipefy. Today you're going to learn more about how this revolutionary tool works and how it helps increase your team's efficiency and productivity. First of all, I have to warn you that this webinar is not a product demonstration. If you're looking for a product demonstration, I can send you an URL with a video for a complete product demonstration. But today, we're going to go over some basic process management concepts and explore Pipefy's structure and its basic concepts. We won't, however, explore more advanced aspects of our interface. So if you're interested in a product demonstration, let us know so we can get you in contact with one of our product specialists. The first concept we need to explore is what is a process? According to the Oxford Dictionary, a process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. In other words, it can also be defined as a series of sequential steps used by a person or a team to get to a desired result. In Pipefy, a process is called a pipe. Also, one question many people ask themselves is, does my company have processes? Of course it does. All companies have processes. From startups to 1,000-people enterprises, processes are everywhere, even if you haven't realized that yet. Some examples of processes are accounts payable and receivable, task management, expense reimbursement, recruitment, sales pipeline, customer help desk, and much more. Processes can be anything and have different levels of complexity, from simple things such as baking a pizza or filling up forms to more complex activities such as flying an airplane, assembling a car, etc. What sets processes and projects apart, and why each must be managed differently? The first thing we need to differentiate processes and projects is that projects are finite. They have a clear beginning, middle, and end. They are defined or limited by a time frame, so 1 week, 1 month, or a goal. Projects are unique and must come to an end eventually. Examples of projects are building a house, throwing a party, etc. Processes, on the other hand, are continuous. They are cycles happening repeatedly. The more you execute a process, the more you learn about it and improve it. After doing the same thing over 100 times, people expect you to be good at it. Some examples of processes are manufacturing cars, drafting contracts, making pizzas, etc. Managing processes as if they were projects and vice versa can cause mistakes and bad execution. Processes are continuous and they normally work according to execution rules or standards. Project management tools don't normally offer the possibility of creating rules to standardize execution as process management tools such as Pipefy do. Even though you can use Pipefy to manage projects, you can't use a simple project or task management tool to manage processes effectively. There are many ways to identify and manage your processes. There are numerous process management methodologies out there. The vast majority, such as BPMN or Six Sigma, are seen as too complex for most operational teams, which they actually are. BPMN, or the famous flowcharts, is great for mapping processes, but when it comes to managing processes and activities on a daily basis, it's not actually very useful. Six Sigma is a great methodology focused on excellency, mistake prevention, and defect removal. Its biggest downside, however, is that it demands a long period of study and analysis before implementation. Lean is a process management methodology widely known due to the Toyota Production System, TPS. Pipefy has inherited its interface from one of Lean's well-known and loved tools, Kanban. SIPOC, or IPO, is our CEO's favorite process management methodology. It's simple and intuitive when it comes to mapping processes and understanding how they work. It focuses on identifying the process's input, its execution steps, and output. We're going to talk more about IPO later on. In his ebook, The Ultimate Guide to Organize Your Business, it's actually, if you want to download the ebook, it's available on our site for free. Our CEO, Alessio Alianzo, used a simple and pretty much self-explanatory example to show people how IPO works. There's the input, a couple, romantic dinner, wine, and Netflix. The process, so inviting him or her to come over for dinner, buying flowers, chocolate and being romantic, serving dinner along with a good wine, suggest watching a movie, and the output 40 weeks later, a baby, new bills to pay, a new routine with sleepless nights, and so much happiness. As we mentioned, Pipefy inherited its main interface from one of Lean's tools called Kanban. But what actually is Kanban? Kanban is an inventory control system. It was developed in the 1950s by Taiichi Ono, an industrial engineer at Toyota, to control the supply chain. He developed Kanban to improve manufacturing efficiency. So Kanban was developed initially as an actual physical card that went through all the phases in the production line in a factory, in a Toyota factory, in which people wrote down the parts and pieces they used in building up a car so they could keep track of the inventory, so they could know which parts they needed to buy, which ones they had in stock, etc. The word is Japanese and it's roughly translated to card you can see, placard, or billboard. Kanban is a visual sign that's used to trigger an action. This is the first contact many people have with Kanban. So a board with 3 columns to do, doing, and done, and sticky notes with tasks on it. According to the definition in the dictionary, Kanban is a Japanese manufacturing system in which the supply of components is regulated through the use of an instruction card sent along the production line. So Pipefy's interface is not much different from the traditional view of a Kanban because you have the columns, which are the phases of your process, and you have the cards going through the phases. So what is different is that it's not an actual production line, but it's a virtual one. So you have the card going through the phases, and it goes in each phase, it acquires more information until it gets to the end of the production line in which you have your complete product or your end activity. So Alessio Alonso, Pipefy's CEO and founder, has a lot of experience with process management and improvement. Even though he's an expert, he had a lot of difficulty managing the operations in his previous company. He searched the market for solutions that provided what he needed, and he wasn't able to find anything that worked the way he wanted to. That was when he decided to found Pipefy, an easy, dynamic, and fully customizable way to manage processes of all types. Pipefy is the best way to manage your company's processes. It's a cloud-based process management platform that enables you to centralize your company's operations in a single place. What differentiates Pipefy from the other alternatives in the market is that it's simple, customizable, and do it yourself. You don't need to have any technical knowledge or IT support to implement or maintain your own processes. The managers or the process owners can create and manage the processes on their own without depending on anyone else to help them manage their activities. Your company in Pipefy is structured just like your real company. So you have the company, and inside your company you have your processes, which we call pipes. Each pipe has different steps or execution steps, which we call phases. And in each phase of your process, you have the activities, which we call cards. So your company's account is an actual representation of your company's structure within Pipefy. It encompasses all your team members and all the processes you run. Your company's processes are called pipes. Pipefy allows you to set up pipes for almost every processes your company runs, such as purchase process, customer support, sales pipeline, expense reimbursement, etc. As we mentioned before, Pipefy is fully customizable, so you can create almost any process you imagine, from a simple task management process to a more complex that demands that 3 or 4 teams interact in the same process. A phase is a step in the execution of a process. The cards on a pipe move laterally through the phases by using action buttons or by dragging and dropping the card to the phase you'd like it to be. So each of the phases of your process will have different activities you have to execute before you can move the cards to the next phase. The activities in each phase are represented by the field. The fields are the bricks that build the phases of your pipes. They are your process's rule. You can use different fields to give instructions or demand information. The fields help establish and enforce execution standards and prevent mistakes, inefficiencies, and misunderstanding. Further ahead in the presentation, we will explain all the different types of fields and how they can be used. A card is a visual, detailed representation of an activity in a pipe. Since we mentioned you can have different processes for almost any type of activity inside Pipefy, cards can represent many different things. So if you have a sales pipeline, a card is a sales opportunity or a potential customer. In a purchase process, a card is an item to be purchased, etc. Now we're gonna go through some of the screens you're gonna see inside Pipefy, and we're gonna go quickly through some of these numbers so you know what you're gonna access if you click in each of these elements. Number 1 is the name of your company here. If you click on number 2, you're gonna access this screen you're gonna see here, which accesses all your company's pipes. Number 3 is where you click to access your company's databases. The database is a very useful feature that allows you to create databases that can be used or related within the same company's processes. So you can create customer databases, supplier or employee. So you can, let's suppose you have a purchase process in which you can you have a field in which you can retrieve your supplier records, or you can add new supplier records directly from within your purchase process. That is what the database is for. Number 4 is the advanced apps and integrations. This is where you click to access the automation, which is one of our most important advanced tools. Number 5 is where you click to access our in-app chat and talk to our support team. So if you click here, you're most likely going to talk to me. Number 6 is where you click to see your alerts, your notification. Number 7, when you click on your profile picture, you're going to open a menu where you can access your My Desk, switch company, access your user settings and your company settings if you're a company admin, or log out. Number 8 is where you click to invite new members to your company. Number 9 is where you click to view your company's members or change their permissions. Number 10 is where you click to view your company's activities timeline. So it's just like your Facebook timeline, but for your company's activity. You're going to see everything that happened in your company in a timeline view here. Number 11 is where you can access your My Desk as well. Number 12 is where you favorite a pipe. So when you click on this little star, the pipe is going to come to the front of all other pipes. And this here is a personal setting. So if I click on this little star here for the sales process, it's only going to be displayed in front of all other pipes for me. It's not going to be displayed for my teammates in the same company. So this is very useful if you have your own task management pipe and you want it to be displayed in front of all others. You can make it a favorite pipe and it's going to be displayed in front of all others, so you can access it quickly in the morning every day to check on your activity. Number 13, this little padlock icon here shows that the pipe is private, so only admin users and invited users can access it. And number 14 is where you click to create a new pipe. Okay, now that we went through the company dashboard, we're gonna go through the pipe dashboard. So this is the name of the company you're in, and this is the name of the pipe you're in. This is where you click to access the Kanban view, which is the one we're seeing right now. And number 4, you switch to the reports view. The reports is another one of our advanced features. It displays all your pipes data in a table view and lets you filter them according to what you want to see. So you can choose to display the information on all your pipes fields or only selected field, and you can filter by phase, by assignee, by pretty much any information you want, and you can save reports to access whenever you need. So the filters are saved and the data inside them is automatically updated. So let's say I have a sales process and I want to know the total value of the opportunities currently in proposal. So I can save a report that filters the opportunities in proposal, and it automatically sums the value of these opportunities. So whenever I open the reports tab, it shows this value directly in the report, so I can check that quickly whenever I feel like. Number 5, 6, and 7 are the options I told you guys before: in-app chat, notifications, and the menu with My Desk, switch company, user and company settings, and logout. And number 8 is where you invite new members to your pipe. This is different than the one in the company dashboard, because when you invite members to your company, if you have a private pipe, for example, you have to invite members into the pipe so they can join. If you have public pipes, members can decide to join on their own. But if the pipe is private, if it has the little padlock icon I showed you guys, you have to invite people in so they can join. Number 9 is where you click to see the pipe members. 10 are the metrics. 11 is the pipe timeline. 12 is where you click to filter your pipes cards based on label. So if you have the size of the opportunity, you can filter by only big opportunities, or you can also filter by assignee. So I can choose to only see my cards in the pipeline. And number 13 is where you click to open the sidebar menu and access the pipe setting. This icon here is only visible for pipe admin. Numbers 14 and 17, both plus icons, is where you click to open the form and create new cards. Number 15 is the name of the phase and the amount of cards currently in it. And number 16 is where you click to access the phase setting, so you can edit the phase, move it to the right or to the left. Edit the action buttons so you can define where users can move cards from this phase to or delete this phase. It's very important to let you guys know that whenever you delete a phase or a field or any other element, if there's any information in it, so if I chose to delete this phase, all cards inside of it would be gone as well. So if I have a field, let's say if I were to delete the field email, the one that has this information, the email would disappear from all cards. So it's very important to pay attention to those small details. Now we're going to take a look at the anatomy of a card. When you look at your Pipe dashboard, you can see that we have many cards here. This is the closed card view. When you click on a card, it opens like this. A card is divided into two parts. The left side that contains all the information added in the previous phases. So you can see here the start form, step 1, step 2, and step 3, and the other items you choose to display. There's an option here, says click here to customize this view, and you can choose to display other elements here, such as the checklists or the comments or the emails you exchanged from this pipe. And on the right side, you can see the fields of the phase the card is currently at. So this is what must be done in this phase before you can move the card to the next phase. This is the card's title. You can choose from your start forms fields, one of your fields that's going to be the card's title. This field is displayed in the closed card view, and you can also choose other fields to be displayed as subtitles, which are the information displayed underneath the title in the closed card view. Number 2 is the phase the card is currently at. Number 3, when you click on these 3 dots, you're going to see 2 options. You can edit the phase or delete the card. Number 4 through 7 are the fields we call fixed fields. So they're always here unless we have one field of this type in this phase. So you can use these to set a due date, assign this card to one or more Pipe members, add one or more labels to categorize the card, or add attachments to this card. This is where you click, so you can click here to open the attachments tab if you already have attachments to this card. So the 8 is where you click to create checklists for this card. These checklists are unique. They're not as the checklist field. They're not going to be the same for each card. So if I want to click create a checklist that's unique for this card, this is where I click. Number 9 is the comments. So if I want to open the comments area, this is where I click. You can use comments to update your team members about an activity. You can use @ plus their username to mention and notify them. And number 10 is the email management. I can use this feature to manually send emails from inside the card. So each card has a unique email address that I can use to send emails directly from inside the card. And whenever a person replies, the email is saved within the card, so we can keep track of the entire conversation history inside Pipefy without having to access external email source. Number 11 are these phases fields. Number 12, you only see this option if you are the Pipe admin. So this is where you click to add new fields to this phase. Number 13 is where you click to leave a quick comment. Number 14 is the card activity log. So just like the company and the Pipe timeline, this is the card's timeline. So if we scroll all the way down, we're going to see all the activities up until when the card was created. Number 15 is where you click to move the card to the next phases. 16 is the card, what happened to the card in the previous phases. And 17 is where you click to customize the left side of the card. Before creating a new pipe, there are a few things you must keep in mind. So before we go inside Pipefy and click the create a new pipe button, we're going to go back a few steps and remember the model I told you guys about, the IPO. We're going to take a look at that and think about our input, our output, and our process steps. So the first thing we need to think about our process is, what is our process's input? What does it take to set it in motion? That's what we're going to ask for in the pipe start form. This is the essential information for us to start our process. So we need to make sure we ask for all the information we need. It's also important that we keep it relevant and don't add unnecessary fields, because unnecessary fields add friction And the more friction we add to our form, the more difficult it is for people to actually get through it all. After we define the input of our process, we're going to get to the output of our process. So what is our expected result? What determines that our process was successful? So what is our success metric? We can't improve what we can measure. So in order to achieve continuous improvement, we need to determine where we want to get and how we're going to measure it. After determining point A, the input, and point B, we're going to list the execution steps. So what does it take to go from one point to the other? We can add as many phases and fields as we need. We can never have we can never have too much detail as long as it's relevant. When developing a new process, we need to think about the information we're going to want to extract from it using the Pipefy reports feature we mentioned before. We're only going to be able to extract the information we actually added to the process. It's very important that we keep that in mind. We can't extract data we haven't added to our process. So it's important to keep that in mind. We need to ask for all the information we need so we'll be able to measure the results of our process. Now, down to the actual activity of creating a new pipe. To create a new pipe, we're going to go to our company dashboard and click on Add New Pipe. We have the option of choosing one of Pipefy's pre-designed process templates, which are fully editable, or starting a new process from scratch. When creating a new pipe, either using templates or from scratch, you can edit everything to make the process work according to your needs. When you create a new pipe from scratch, you need to give it a name. The created pipe will have a standard start form with a single field and 3 standard phases: inbox, doing, and done. The start form represents your process's input. You can add or edit the fields to make sure you ask for all the information you need to keep the card moving through the pipe's phases. So the form is your process input. It's the door through which all the essential information to begin your process will enter through. We have, you can see here, we have an option that says share. We have another advanced feature called public form that allows you to make the start form public and make it possible for external users, such as customers, suppliers, etc., to create cards in a process without being members of it. So when you click here, you're going to see a public URL you can send to your external members so they can create cards inside your processes without joining Pipefy. To add a new phase to a pipe, you're going to click on the plus icon next to the last phase's name on the far right corner of your pipe. You will need to add fields to this phase and edit its settings after you've created. When creating or editing a pipe's phases or start form, you can choose among a variety of field types. The field type you choose will depend mostly on the information you're asking for, input, format, validation, etc. All fields need to have a title, which is here, the name of the field. They can also have a description. Let me come back here. You have the option of making fields mandatory when you create or edit them. Users can't move cards from a phase with mandatory fields forward until they filled in the information requested in these fields. You can see here that these fields have the little asterisk next to them and these didn't. So these are mandatory, these weren't. So all fields need to have a title. This is the title of the field here. And they can also have a description, which is an explanation or instruction about the field, which is displayed in light gray under the field's title. And they can also have a help text, which is a longer, more complete text to provide further instructions about the field, which is only displayed when the users click on the little I icon next to the field's title. And you can also choose to make the field mandatory, as we told you guys before, so users can't move cards to the next phase until they fill these fields. You see here we have the minimal view option. So when we choose this option, the field is displayed as a link instead of the entire field. And we can also choose this option here that makes the field editable on other phases. So this setting allows users to edit the information in a field outside of the phase it belongs to. Now we're going to go over the types of fields we have. The first type of field we're going to talk about is the assignee select. You can assign a card to one or more team members. When you assign a card to someone, he or she will be notified. The card will appear on his or her My Desk, and you'll be able to filter the pipe and see all cards that belong to that person. The second field type is attachment. You can use this field to attach files to the card. You can set up customized validations so that users can only attach files of a certain type, such as JPEG, CSV, etc. When you add an attachment field to the face, it won't be displayed within the fixed fields in the card. The checklist is a multiple choice field that allows users to choose more than one option. It can be horizontal or vertical. The connection field creates a connection between two pipes or between a pipe and a database. You can use it to create subtasks or to relay a reimbursement request to an employee registration pipe. The currency field is the only difference is that it has this specific format with 2 decimals. The date field with the options of date, time, and due date. When you add a due date field to the face, it can be displayed in the calendar view. Number 7 is the document field. Number 8 is the email with format validation, so name@email.com. Number 9 is the ID, which is the card's ID, a unique identification number related to the card. This field is automatically provided, so you don't need to fill any information into it. Number 10 is the label select. This type of field it provides a drop-down menu for you to choose from the previously created labels on the pipe. Number 11 is number, and 12 is phone. Number 13 is radio. It can be horizontal or vertical, and it's a multiple choice field that allows users to choose a single option from. Number 14 is the select. It's also a multiple choice field that allows users to choose a single option from, but it's displayed as a drop-down list. It's especially useful in situations where there are many options to choose from, such as state, city, or country list. Number 15 is statement. This is another field in which you don't have to fill in any information. It's only used to give instructions. Number 16 is text, both short and long text. And 17 is time. Beside the pre-designed process templates we mentioned before, Pipefy offers many advanced features to help save your time and improve the efficiency of your processes. Some of these features are automation, which we mentioned before, that enables you to automate some of your processes activities, such as moving cards, creating connected cards, email templates that sends automated emails with dynamic content, so you can keep your users updated on the status of their processes, SLA tracking, advanced reports, connections, integrations via Zapier and API, two-factor authentication, the database, and our mobile app. We also have a series of advanced apps that enable users to integrate natively with Slack, Google Hangouts, Aperion, GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab, see all cards with a due date in a calendar view, and plan and execute sprints complete with burn-down charts. Thanks everyone for joining, and see you all on the next webinar.